Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Leadership Show this afternoon. I have with me a wonderful person that you cannot play with when you're talking about entrepreneurship at the global stage. And I will tell you about him just briefly. Just hold on for me. I welcome you to the show this afternoon on behalf of my management at Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa, broadcasting live from our head office here in Abuja. So let me tell you about who we have here. Professor Dileep Rao is a clinical professor of entrepreneurship at the Florida International University in the United States of America. Previously, he was at the University of Minnesota. He also has been awarded numerous awards for teaching at both universities. That's the University of Minnesota and Florida International University. He has taught at Stanford, also at Stanford University, and Harvard, in addition to executive MBA programs around the world. He is a keynote speaker on how finance smart entrepreneurs develop high growth ventures with little or no venture capital. Professor Dileep was Vice President of Financing and Business Development and a board member at a venture development and finance institution for 23 years, where he financed the growth of hundreds of businesses and real estate projects in America. He has started 4 businesses, including corporate ventures, and managed 5 turnaround businesses. 4 succeeded, though, where he was chairman and director of emerging ventures and financial institutions. Professor Dileep advises on building big businesses with finance smart strategies. His clients have included entrepreneurs, governments, including the US government, Fortune 1000 corporations, including Medtronic and General Mills, and financial institutions such as banks and development financial institutions in the United States of America. He is a nationally acclaimed author and entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial finance blogger for Forbes.com, one of the world's largest online business platform. He has 2 engineering degrees and a doctorate in business administration from the University of Minnesota. Oh, wow. So much to talk about Professor Dileep, our guest on the show this afternoon. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us a master who has done a lot of work in terms of venture financing and business development around the world, especially in the United States of America. And like I said earlier, he is a clinical professor of entrepreneurship at the Florida International University. So it's a privilege to have you on the show this afternoon, Prof. Prof, you're welcome once again.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you already it's a privilege to have Professor Dileep, join us this afternoon all the way from the US, to be part of the leadership show here that that we bring to you every Wednesday. So, I want you to get ready and prepared for him with all your questions and all your comments, anything that you want to know about, growing your startup without a venture capital. That is the focus of our discussion this afternoon. How to grow your startup without a venture capital. That is wonderful. For us here, we run about pitching competitions and also organizing pitching competitions. And then here we have someone that says you can grow your startup without a venture capital. That is amazing. And I can't wait, for him to begin to offload to us the strategies and everything that we need to know on how to grow our own startups without venture capitals. So, Prof, I want to welcome you once again. And it's a serious privilege to have you on the show. It's not easy to get people like you to join us and spend 1 hour talking to young people across Africa. So, Prof, you're welcome once again.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here and to talk to Africa and Nigeria. My father was in Nigeria in 1962, and just after Nigeria became independent, and he spent time with the Nigerian government to help you set up the insurance tables. So he was an insurance expert. So I feel close to Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a homecoming for you. I know you have not been to Nigeria, but because your father has been here, so we want to welcome you. You are our brother. Is it anything like that? Can I say so?
I'm sorry?
So can I say this is a homecoming for you, since your father has been here before, even though you've not been to Nigeria?
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So, Prof, let's hit the ball rolling. You have a fantastic profile. That I just read out. I don't know if you have anything else to talk to us about you that I did not mention.
Well, what I'd like to, and first of all, thank you for sharing some of the questions you're going to ask me, because that helped me put some slides together. And let me just share my background in a different format. And this would be a format that shows you how I've reached here and where I'm going. I started out financing ventures and managing turnarounds, joined a fund when I was in my early 20s. And we financed more than 400 deals with venture capital, debt, and leases. And I managed 5 companies and we turned them around. These were all failing companies. I don't sleep well at night, so I wrote books on venture finance that were published by the American Management Association and the New York Times. And then near the end of my finance career, I became a consultant to the US government, and this changed my perspective. I was going to low-income areas around the country, and what it taught me is that you need skills more than capital. These were community development corporations that had capital. The government gave them capital, and they were failing because they did not know how to succeed. So that basically suggested that I should leave what I was doing and learn how to do it. What skills? So I became a professor, and I've been researching unicorn entrepreneurs. I've been interviewing them. I'll share that with you. And I've taught this at Florida International, at Harvard, Stanford, INCAI in Costa Rica, Minnesota, and around the world. I've gone to Europe many times. I write a blog, and these are my latest books. And so what I'm doing now is I'm developing a channel on YouTube on unicorn entrepreneurship. So if you want to know more, just search for those terms and find that, and then join it. I'm sure you'll find it useful. So that's basically what I wanted to add, Remy, about my background.
Oh, good, fantastic. Thank you for that. Background of yourself that you have just shared with us right now. Okay, Prof. There's one particular book that you have that is so interesting, and I wish I will have it someday. The book is "The Truth About Venture Capital." The book, "The Truth About Venture Capital." So, can you share, a little bit of this truth with us? The truth about venture capital.
That's a book that's free. So it's wonderful. My only book that's free. And you can go to my website. This is my website, which is my name. And you can download it. So, and let me tell you a little about what it says. Because this was a surprising thing even to me, because I was also caught up in a venture capital thing. I used to be a venture capitalist. And the interesting thing is VCs only finance about 100 out of 100,000 ventures. And they fail on 80. Most people don't realize that venture capitalists fail on a lot of their ventures. And in the US, they fail on 80. The unicorns that you hear about are only 1 out of 100,000. So VC success is rare. Getting venture capital is not success. All it means is that you have given up control of your venture to somebody else. And you should be very careful as an entrepreneur before you do that. The second thing you need to know from this book is venture capitalists do not fund before AHA. What is AHA? AHA is when you don't have to go to a pitch competition. I'm sorry, Remy, to say this, but pitch competitions do nothing. Nobody can listen to a pitch and say, here is a next Steve Jobs. Just so that you know how many people turn Steve Jobs down? I think he's one of the greatest entrepreneurs of the last 50 years. 12 venture capitalists turned him down. 12. And this is after he had started. 13 VCs turned Google down. You have to ask yourself, what are they looking for? Okay? They are looking for proof that you have actually launched it. So you need to build your venture from your idea till AHA, if you need it. And either it's a technology AHA, a strategy AHA, leadership AHA, or previous home run AHA. So I'm not going to go deep into this because we don't have the time. And that's what you need to do. I don't know if any of you are fans of B.B. King. He's a blues artist, one of the greatest ones, and he said, nobody loves you but your mama. And she could be jiving too. And before aha, that's what it is. Okay? So the truth about VCs, 20 venture capitalists earn 95% of IPO profits. Just because you got VC and gave up control doesn't mean you'll succeed. Many of them fail. Okay? And they succeed mainly in Silicon Valley. So few venture capitalists create unicorns. Do not lose control. And this is the last slide on this. VC has worked for 6% of billion-dollar entrepreneurs because I've studied about 120. The other 94% grew without venture capital. So keep that in mind. That's basically a summary of the book. So you can download it. Okay?
Okay. The book is downloadable at let me paste the site www.dileeprao.com, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, the link is on the screen where you can download this free ebook from www.dileeprao.com. If you go to that site, you'll be able to download this free ebook called The Truth About Venture Capitals. The truth about venture capital. Just like he said, when you give out your business to a venture capital, you are almost giving out your business. Is that what you said, Prof?
If you get it too early, you have given up control. If you wait until much later, you get to keep control and get to keep most of the venture. That's what Mark Zuckerberg did. He waited for venture capital until he was getting 10 to 20,000 users per week. And that's when the VCs came to him, kissed his ring, and said, please, can we invest in your venture? And they did not ask for control. Same with Bill Gates, same with Jeff Bezos. So, but with Steve Jobs, they kicked him out because he got venture capital too early. So learn how to build your venture from the idea stage till takeoff. And that's what my books are about.
Fantastic. Okay, I wanted to ask you something else, but let me go straight to this other aspect. You are going around the world teaching about how American billionaires, have grown their businesses, without venture capitals. So can you tell us these strategies they applied, to take off and also to grow, just like you mentioned Zuckerberg, you mentioned Bill Gates and all of that. So can you share with us, these strategies that they use, to get to where they were before the VCs now eventually came, to support them?
Sure. When I share the strategies, please keep in mind that many of these entrepreneurs were supremely gifted. Okay, they were natural entrepreneurs, and I'll share with you what that means. So they were able to come up with these strategies in order to succeed. Okay, and I've learned from them. I've studied what they did. I've interviewed them, and this is what I'm sharing. And basically, there are two types of America's unicorn entrepreneurs. Okay, not just one, two. And what is a unicorn entrepreneur? I'm defining them as entrepreneurs who built real unicorns. Now, that again is an issue that you might want to keep in mind. Unicorns, as venture capitalists define it, is a venture where they value it at over $1 billion. I wrote a blog on Forbes. Go to Forbes. I wrote a blog saying I can help any one of you start a unicorn in 1 week or 1 day. Okay, it's a very simple technique, and what I'm sharing with you is more of a joke, but it highlights what they do. I added the sales aspect. So $1 billion entrepreneur started from idea to 1 billion plus in sales and value. So there's substance. $100 million entrepreneur went from idea to 100 million plus in sales because the value wasn't always clear. So count sales. I looked at the strategies of 122 unicorn entrepreneurs. I financed 9. So in my finance career, I financed about 400 companies. 9 of them became unicorn entrepreneurs. 2 became $1 billion, 7 became $100 million entrepreneurs, which was surprising to me because I didn't expect it to be that good. I interviewed 33 after I retired from finance, and I researched 80. Okay, and these are people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and so forth. This is a venture capital model. Somebody's saying network is terrible. I hope it improves. But the venture capital model is where you come up with an idea or a product. You try to get angel capital in pitch competitions. You develop your strategy and prove your strategy. You get venture capital and you get a professional CEO. So the VCs kick you out and get a professional CEO. This is a true venture capital model. The unicorn entrepreneurship model is where you develop your product, your strategy, and seek entrepreneur capital from somebody else. Like Sam Walton, we financed Walmart when I was a financier. Basically started with $25,000. Dick Schultz, who started Best Buy, started with $9,000. I interviewed him. Once they took off, they proved their leadership, like a Mark Zuckerberg, like a Bill Gates, like a Jeff Bezos. And then some got VC, some did not. And they stayed on as CEO. So the question for you is, do you want to give up your baby or you want to run it? If you want to run it, learn skills, okay? So this is the financial model, which means that they had slow sales at the start, okay? And this is the venture capital sales hopes. This is the unicorn entrepreneurship. Slower at the start, but did not lose money. They had no losses, okay? Now, how many of them followed each? 6% followed the venture capital model. 1% because he developed a great technology, 5% because they developed a great strategy, and 94% followed the unicorn entrepreneurship model. 18% they took off without venture capital, got VC later. 76% of America's unicorn entrepreneurs who are studied never got venture capital. Okay, so you see a lot of publicity about venture capital, but that's because they pay to get the publicity. Okay, so unicorn entrepreneurs use skills and smart strategies. Now, to answer Remy's question, what did they do? They came up with a great opportunity. Now, you might have heard the word first mover. Okay, first mover is a concept that was publicized by PR people. Is not true. These people often imitated. Steve Jobs never came up with an original idea in his life. Let me answer one question that Oshaiza asked. Briefly explain what venture capital means. Venture capital, as I've defined it, and as most of America defines it, is institutional capital, which means venture capitalists, the people who run them, raise money from pension funds and other people, rich families, pension funds, insurance companies, and then they invest large amounts in ventures. And this is, when I say large, it's unlimited. They can invest 15 million, 100 million, 200 million, a billion, okay? They can invest huge amounts because they form pools. So they invest huge amounts. They basically use capital as a weapon in order to beat other people. If you can't get that kind of institutional venture capital, in America at least, getting 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, a million is not that much. Somebody else can raise 10 million and beat you if all you are using is capital as a weapon, okay? So venture capital is unlimited capital, whereas if you can't get them, then you are working with limited capital, which is what 99.9% of America's entrepreneurs did. So first get the right strategy, then come up with a great business strategy. How do you get the edge per dollar? So in the opportunity, you need to position yourself for potential. In the strategy, you need to capture that potential. And that's what's in that book, Nothing Ventured, Everything Gained. Then you come up with the right finance strategy. Why? You want to grow, but you want to keep control. And then you launch. It's like a plane taking off. You have a limited runway. If you crash, you're done. If you reach the end of the runway and can't take off, you're done. So you need to be able to take off with limited capital because it's very difficult to raise capital after you've started if you're failing. Okay, we used to get many of them. We rejected most of them. So that's basically the strategies that you need to use. Okay, I'm summarizing everything here, Remy, just so all of you understand.
Okay, good. Good. Prof, this is really eye-opening, for for us here who are listening to you, just hold on. Let me go to the comment section and see if there are questions for you from the audience. Okay, I have so many comments. Okay, this is from we are here to learn from this great program. Okay, good. That's from Osuji Posmos. Okay, this is from Obone John Odo. Good day, everyone. Okay, this one is from Omage Titilayo Grace. Okay, from Lokoja. Very good, fantastic. We have this one is from Aman Monye. Good day, sir. Okay, great one from Ebere. This one is from Ebere Noroka. Great one here. Okay, this one is from Dabra. She's saying from Baesa. Okay, this one is from. Can the admin type the website address in the comment section so we can download? Okay, good. I've already done that. www.
No, I've been reading the comments on the right.
Oh, okay, you've been doing that already.
Yeah,
okay,
so
good.
that's why
okay,
I saw the comment about venture capital and what it means. So I've been reading.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let me see if there's any other question. Okay. Briefly explain what venture. Okay, good. You have said that. You have answered that. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the show this afternoon, and we are reaching you from the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. And this afternoon, we are discussing how you can start and grow your business or your startup without a venture capital. And talking to us is a master, a professional, Professor Dileep from the University of Florida in the USA. So he is the one talking to us. He's a master. He's been in the field, working in corporate America as a venture financier and as a business development professional before he retired and went back to school. So he is talking to us sincerely what we should know about going for venture capitals, and then how to do smart, how to build your skills, so that you can grow, and then venture capitals will start looking for you to put their money in your business where you have already taken off. So I think that's basically what he's trying to let us know. He mentioned Mark Zuckerberg, he mentioned Steve Jobs and all of that, who applied the same strategies that he's trying to pass on to us this afternoon. So I want you to keep watching us and learning from this master that we have brought to you, to speak to us about this important concept. So Prof, I want to also go to, you do what is called skills-based unicorn entrepreneurship. That is one of your programs, and I think is also changing and impacting a number of lives around the world. So we want to be part of this. So what is it about?
Well, basically, just to give a sentence as to why we need it. Unfortunately, entrepreneurship education started in universities about the same time that venture capital started to grow. And so many academics assumed that venture capital is the only way to build high growth ventures. And again, I'm not talking about small business because you don't need to go to a university and so forth to run a small business, in my opinion, and I could be wrong. So everybody assumed that the way to start it is to come up with an idea, be a first mover, find angel capital, get venture capital, and take off. What I found is that most of the successful entrepreneurs had used skills. They did not use venture capital, sometimes ever, sometimes till much later. And thereby they created wealth and controlled it. To me, the control is very crucial as an entrepreneur, because if you're going to create wealth, you're going to spend a lot of time creating that venture. Some of you are not going to be spending a lot of time with their families. At least give them wealth instead of being even screwed on that. So essentially what skills-based is I'm developing a program so that I can do this on the web, and I can work with universities and incubators. And you can see the comment that Small Business Ed says, and it is a myth. It's become a huge myth that you need venture capital to succeed. But these are the steps in order to use skills. Okay, so you need a full-fledged array of skills. And first is you need to be capital smart. How do you find the right capital? You need to be business smart. How do you use the right capital? You need to be leadership smart. How do you use the right capital? And these are the 4 key steps. So keep this in mind. This is one of the most crucial aspects of the entire program. How much capital can you invest? I've worked all over the world, and most entrepreneurs, with the exception of someone like a Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, who came from rich families, not much. Okay, most of us did not come from wealth. How much capital do you need? How much capital can you raise? Again, not many can raise a whole bunch of capital unless you're Elon Musk and have already built a unicorn. How much wealth can you create? This is the fundamental question you need to ask yourself. How much wealth can you create? Okay? And if you can't create a whole bunch of wealth, you're not going to get venture capital. If you can't prove that you can create a lot of wealth, you're not going to get venture capital. Wealth kept, how much wealth will you keep? To answer Bibi's question, for those of us with small businesses, maybe I'm assuming that you're in business to make money, right? If you're in business to make money, you want to make your small business big. Am I right? Say yes, please. Because if you say no, then why are you here? Okay? If you want to make your small business big and to become wealthier, to give more money to your family, to have more money for you, this is what we're talking about. How can you do it? Okay? So don't stay small. That's my point. If your life's goal is to stay small, my philosophy is just the opposite. You're going to spend the same amount of time. You might as well become richer. Then you'll control your world and maybe give more money to Remy so he can do more good. Okay? So become wealthier. That's the key issue that I'm raising. And how much of that wealth can you keep? That's the point. So a small business, become big. Learn how to become big. That's what these are. Okay? So how much wealth can you keep on the capital? These are the steps you need to think about. And finance smart basically means what we just talked about. How do you find the right opportunity? How do you find the right strategy? How do you find the right financial strategy? How do you take off with control? How do you build the right organization? How do you become a great leader? This is what I'm focused on. These 2 are the first book. These 2 are the second book. These 2, I have the information I haven't written. And my wife basically told me not to write it until I start to promote it. So all of us are controlled by somebody, my friends. So just so you know. The key is finding the right edge to dominate. Okay? What is the right edge? Some people use this. Some people use a strategy. Some people use the finance strategy. Some people use takeoff. And how do you develop the right skills to lead? You need to have all of these skills. Okay? And that's a key question. I did this in Florida. The first time I did it, I basically launched it. If you go to business.fiu.edu/unicorns, I did the educational part. I didn't do the finance part, which is what I'm starting next. And this is what I'm doing now. That's what I'm launching. I'm starting a channel, so please subscribe. I'm teaching how to go from idea to take off. So even a small business, how do you take off? How do you become bigger? Scale up. Once you've taken off, how do you become a leader? And then what kind of skills do you need? Okay, so that's basically what I'm launching. These are the steps you might want to think about. How do you grow? What are the strategies and skills? One is you need the right opportunity in an emerging trend. I use the word emerging trend. This might be of interest to you. 100%. There aren't that many rules in business that 100% of the people did it. But I haven't found a single exception to this so far. 100% of the people that I've studied, and there may be exceptions, I'm not saying there aren't, used an emerging trend. They used a business strategy for an edge. They found the right sales driver. How do you sell? They found the right sales driver. Mark Zuckerberg is a genius at this. He beat Rupert Murdoch, who's the richest media guy in the world. This young pipsqueak, 19-year-old from Harvard, beat Rupert Murdoch with Facebook by finding the right sales driver. Financial productivity, every dollar needs to go further. And that's something you need to keep in mind, which means you need to focus on financial productivity, everything that you did. Finance without VC, how do you do that? How do you bootstrap launch, and how do you organize to lead? So you need to know all of this, okay? And I'm sorry to say this, Remy, but you can't teach this in 2 weeks.
Okay, good.
That's the reason why I'm anti-pitch competitions and I'm anti-2-week training.
Oh, good, good. I am happy that you have introduced to us, your new program called the Skills-Based Unicorn Entrepreneurship, and I'm sure that most people watching will go to your website, to be able to connect with you and participate in the program and every other thing that you're doing. You have just opened our eyes to a number of secrets that we have never heard about before. So it's something that calls for action. People need to really do something if they want to grow big, like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, and all of that. And basically, okay, so let me not go too far. So I want to ask you, there's something, I don't know if anyone has asked that question. Now, back here, we have, venture VCs are maybe they are here, but not really prominent. Like we have loan programs from the government, from the development finance institutions like Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, Central Bank of Nigeria. Now there are so many loan programs. So can you talk about how is loan program different from a VC?
Sure. Well, yeah, I went, Remy was kind enough to send me some links to the main banks in Nigeria. I think the Bank of Nigeria and the Central Bank, and I looked at some of the programs you have. I didn't go into a lot of detail, but basically, what's the difference between loans and venture capital? First of all, venture capital is unlimited capital, okay? If you look at the true sense. So this is the difference between even angel capital and venture capital. Angel capital is limited, which means you need to grow with a limited amount of money as opposed to unlimited. Let me tell you what that means. If I go to war against you, okay, and you have an army of 10,000 people, and I can get an army of 100,000 people, assuming we have the same skills, I'll beat you, okay? That is venture capital. So in essence, they go to war in business with capital, so they can beat all the others with less capital. That's how the Silicon Valley VCs do it. They give so much capital to their venture that they can use the capital to beat the competitors. So if you borrow money, you're never going to be able to borrow too much money. The lenders are frugal, which means they will look at your cash flow. They will look at your assets. They will look at your collateral, and they will give you loans based on that. What's the difference between loans and venture capital? Venture capital is equity. Equity is invested in the business. You don't have to pay it back within 1 year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever. It is in the business. So your cash flow, if any, is not used to pay back the lenders. Your cash flow is used to grow the business. So if you're competing against me and you have venture capital and you can use your capital to grow the business, open a second store, open a third store, and I'm using my loans to pay back the lender, you're going to grow faster than me. And if you have 3 stores to my 1, pretty soon you'll get better terms from the suppliers. You can get better prices from the suppliers. And now you'll be more competitive than me, and you'll kill me. That's the difference. So there's a huge difference between borrowing money that you have to pay back and growing with venture capital. The interesting thing that I think you need to keep in mind is that 76% of the unicorn entrepreneurs I studied did not use venture capital. They used loans and other things. So how did they do it? They were smart in how they managed cash flow. But this requires skills. You need to coordinate your business and finance. You need to link it. You need to be able to grow more with every dollar. You can't waste money. And only one entrepreneur I studied, a guy called Michael Dell Computer, who built a venture without venture capital and beat ventures with venture capital. Okay, now how did he do it? He did it because he came up with a great business model. Okay, he came up with a business model where he was selling directly to the consumers, and the consumers paid him upfront the money for the computer. So he could grow. The more he grew, the more capital he had. He did not have to raise capital. He killed his competitors with that, except the Hewlett Packard, which is already big. So keep that in mind. There are ways of doing it, but you have to be smart. If you do the same thing everybody else is doing, you're not going to succeed. You have to be smarter than the others.
Fantastic. Okay, so what it means is that you recommend loan programs over VCs, right?
I'm sorry, the loan program?
For a startup, you would rather recommend a loan program, over a venture capital, is it?
Well, it's not a question of my recommending it. You're not going to get it. Okay? So somebody is writing here saying that venture capitalists are funders that you can pitch your business idea to and they give you money. Ogbonna basically did not watch what I said earlier. You do not get venture capital just by pitching. That is basically a lie that is being propagated. Nobody gives you a venture capital just because you tell me your idea. I want to see that your idea has legs. I want to see that your idea works. So if you come and tell me I've cured cancer, yes, I will give you money if you have the technology to cure cancer. But if you come and tell me I'm going to open a chicken taco stand, okay, my reaction is, so what? There are hundreds of chicken taco stands. Why should I fund you? But if you come and tell me I've opened a chicken taco stand with my own capital, I've built it to over 20, and now I want to go from 20 to 50, I might fund you. Because now I have proof that you've done it. So it's not a question where you can pitch, unless, of course, Nigerian venture capitalists are really philanthropic and love to give money away and love to lose money. If that's the case, hallelujah, go and get it. But in America, they don't give just because you've pitched them something. There are more ideas and there is more need than there is capital. Okay? There's always a shortage of capital. So if you're the entrepreneur, you have to ask yourself, why will I get venture capital as opposed to this woman or this man? You are taking VC away from them. You know how many people get VCs? 1 out of 1,000 ventures. 1 out of 1,000. 100 out of 100,000. 1 out of 1,000. Why will you be the one? Does that help?
Good. That's a good question. So okay. So
can I answer this question from Dubra?
Okay.
Basically saying, what are the systems or facts a business need to have before it can source for venture capital? My point is, 999 of you will not get venture capital. Okay? So stop thinking you're going to source venture capital. You're not going to get it. The one that gets it, at least in America, has to prove potential. That's what I just showed. So what I'm trying to suggest to you is learn to grow without venture capital. They will come to you when they see potential. That's what they did with Mark Zuckerberg. That's what they did with Jan Koum. Jan Koum is an entrepreneur who came from Eastern Europe. I forget exactly where. Came to Silicon Valley, started a venture with 250,000 raised by his partner from about 10, I think, angels. He reached 250 million users with that 250,000. And that's when he got venture capital because the venture capitalists came to him, begged him, and said, please take our money. Okay? And the company that he built was WhatsApp. And WhatsApp he sold for $19 billion. He did it with skills. So stop thinking you're going to get venture capital. You're not.
Oh, good. So, what the summary of what you have just said is that when your business is doing well and with all the cash flow history and all the papers, the venture capitals will not come to ask you, to put their money in your business so that you can, because they have seen evidence of success and growth already.
Absolutely.
Because
they will come you, they will date you, they will take you out for dinner, they will tell you all the ways they can help you grow and all the ways they will add to your business and all the skills that they will bring. So that's the honeymoon period. Okay.
Okay. So the focus for young entrepreneurs should be on building their businesses without looking for venture capitals. Because when you do well, just like banks here run after businesses that are doing well, so also VCs will run after any business that is doing well. That is the summary of what Professor Dileep has just said. So
every banker loves to lend money to people who are doing well. I may be mispronouncing this name, but if Aliko Dangote said, I want to raise more capital, every banker in Africa will be lined up outside his office.
Oh, good. That's correct.
Did I say his name correctly?
Yes, you got it. Aliko Dangote, you got it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, good. Okay, I don't know if this question is still apply. I wanted to ask you when and how did your orientation about VCs change? Because you were a former vice president in charge of venture financing in a DFI in the US. So, would you like to tell us how and when your orientation about VCs changed?
It changed somewhere in the late 90s, and that's when I quit. Because I started financing in the 70s, and I'm older than most of you, and I assumed, like everybody else, that you need venture capital to succeed. I just made that assumption because I was a VC. It made sense to me that without me, how can you succeed, right? Or without people like me. But when I started working with the US government and going into low-income areas in the US. And these people had money. The government had given them money, and they were failing because they did not have the skills. And that first got me thinking in terms of why were these people failing? Because I knew the businesses they were running. I had run businesses like that. Those were the businesses I turned around. But obviously I had skills and my partner had skills and these people didn't. So that's when I quit finance and became a professor and started studying and researching unicorn entrepreneurs. So I started changing somewhere in the last 15 years. And when I started interviewing, especially a guy called Bob Kierlin, Kierlin, and he started a company called Fastenal, Fastenal. And Fastenal, it's spelled F-A-S-T, okay, Fastenal, but it's pronounced Fastenal. And he built Fastenal to more than $3 billion in sales with about $31,000, okay? And no other capital, $31,000. And I was fascinated. How do you build a $3 billion company with $31,000? So I kept studying what he was doing. And I wrote about him. And then I started studying other people. And that's when it struck me that there are many entrepreneurs who've built great companies with the right skills and right strategies. Not all of them went to school to learn the skills because the professors themselves don't know what the skills are. They just happen to be gifted entrepreneurs. So what I'm doing is basically saying, what did these gifted entrepreneurs do? And how can we teach them to the rest of us who are not that gifted? So that's how that was a change in my life.
Okay. Let me see if we have any questions You are making a very big sense. Okay, that's from Ezine. You are making a very big sense. Okay, good. So I think they are learning a lot from the discussion this afternoon. I think they are learning. That's what it means. So let's go back to the discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the show, the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. That is where we are broadcasting from. And the show is all about how you can start and grow your business without going for a venture capital. So that's what we are discussing with Professor Dileep Rao, a clinical professor from the Florida International University in America. So he is our guest this afternoon, and I'm sure that we are learning a lot from this master. He was formerly a vice president in a development finance institution where he was in charge of venture financing and business development. And when he left, he decided to tell people, the secrets behind the successes of many unicorn entrepreneurs in America. So these are the secrets that he has been sharing with us here: how to work smarter, how to build your business, and then the business will come after you. So that's what we are learning, and I'm sure you are benefiting from this discussion this afternoon. So, Prof, you have been a social entrepreneurship consultant. You have consulted for social entrepreneurs. So can you share with us some of the impacts you made working with social entrepreneurs?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
No, I said, look, it's on the screen now. I said, as a social entrepreneurship consultant, can you tell us some of the impacts that you made, while working with social entrepreneurs in America or elsewhere?
Can I answer Ufoni's question?
Okay,
because I've answered it, I'll just show it and I'll come back. Okay.
Okay. There's a question on the comment section. Okay. Go ahead.
Basically, what are the right skills and strategies? So these were the skills and strategies. Okay, that you need to know. You need to know how to get the right opportunity in an emerging trend, and there are issues behind this. How do you find that? You need skills. You need passion. How do you find the right strategy in an emerging for an edge? How do you get the right sales driver? How do you understand financial productivity? How do you finance without VC? How do you launch without venture capital, with limited capital? And how do you organize? All of these are skills and strategies. Okay, so to answer Ofoni's question, this is basically what you have to do. So the question now that you asked is about social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Well, let me suggest social entrepreneurship in two different ways. One is nonprofits doing work to help, and the second is how do you improve an area? So I basically work in social entrepreneurship with development organizations, with organizations like you. And this is what I recommend to all of people who are interested in developing an area. Let's say you're interested in developing Nigeria, or interested in developing Abuja, or interested in developing Africa. First, focus on people who export from the area. Okay, when I work in America with social entrepreneurs, with community development corporations, I basically asked all of them a simple question: do you have limited capital or do you have unlimited capital? And everybody who is thinking is going to say limited capital. Nobody has unlimited capital. So if you have limited capital, where can you do the most good? Okay, so if I take the $1 I have and put it here, and that can give me $10 in results, or I put it here and that gives me $1 in results, why would I spend that money on the $1 in results? I'll go for the 10. So that's the crucial part. If you're looking at that, and Jato's question is, yes, under most circumstances, unless you control them and basically don't give them control. Okay, so that's what VCs like to tell you, but people like Mark Zuckerberg basically told the VCs, I get to vote your shares. Okay, so, and the VCs won't tell you that. Okay, but going back to this, focus on exporters from the area. Why? Because if I export from the area, I bring in money, I bring in wealth. But for me to export from Nigeria, that means I have to be competitive in the rest of Africa or the rest of the world. I have to have more skills, a stronger company. Aliko Dangote can bring in money to Nigeria. He is an exporter. Okay? How can you be the same? So if you are the social entrepreneurship group, you need to work with the exporters. Once you work with the exporters and start to develop them, if you have extra time and money, then you start to work with the micro business. But I'm not a big fan of large banks and people focusing limited capital on micro business, because what happens then is they circulate the money that's already there. And there is not much money, which is why they are poor areas. So make an area rich. This is what China did. They basically were focused on exports. They did not allow too many imports. They controlled it. And so by doing that, they made China richer. And now they're using that system to basically control the rest of the world. So follow that. And they have done a good job. But don't export your wealth to China. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. And this is what you need: skill, structure, and strategy, like or anything else.
Skill, structure, and strategy. Okay. Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So as a business model, is social entrepreneurship sustainable?
Yes and no. You need the right skills. It's like anything else. If you don't know what you're doing, you will fail. And many people assume that just having good intentions helps. No, it doesn't. You need to have good intentions, and you need to know how to do things right. Just having good intentions doesn't help. I've seen many failures, even in social entrepreneurship. They all have a halo around their head initially because they're doing so much good for the world. But unless it's sustainable, they don't keep it going. So my reaction to them, all of them, is lose the halo and start to become practical. They don't always like the message, but that's unfortunately reality.
Okay. Yeah. So we are talking about we try to explore access to finance opportunities for our entrepreneurs. So now, apart from VCs, what other access to finance opportunities do you recommend? We have heard about loan and the smart skills and all of that. So what else do you recommend?
Okay. Yeah, to answer, I'm mispronouncing this, so please excuse me, Zenia's question.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Professional skills are very expensive. Maybe this is something that incubators can give, but I'm not too sure what they mean by professional skills. If it's sales skills and so forth, to me, that's not professional. That's something you need to know. But legal skills, yeah, you need some help. But access to finance. First of all, if you want to get the right financial sources and instruments, you need to know the right finance skills. And the two things that I've highlighted in gray are things that you learn in any finance class: time value of money and budgeting capital for net present value, IRR, and so forth. So you need to know where you're investing your money and what kind of return you're getting. But the other things are rarely taught, and that is what is the cost of money by stage? A venture has different stages, and at each stage you have a different cost of money. The government is subsidizing you when it's lending you money at less than 10%. So you need to know those, but you need to be able to get a higher return than 10%. How do you price? Pricing is one of the most crucial parts. How do you price? How do you grow right? What is the right growth rate? How do you use break even? How do you keep it low and stay flexible? Because initially you'll need to stay flexible until you find the right strategy. How do you use a safety factor? How do you get the right skills? How do you structure your financing for the right stage? And then if you're looking at financial strategies, at financing strategies, these are what's available in America, okay? So if it's not available in Nigeria, maybe this is something that Nigeria should think about. First of all, revenues. this is anywhere in the world. How can you get revenues and use revenues? How can you get paid before you have to pay somebody else? Can you get orders before you launch? Michael Dell did get it. How do you do operational bootstrapping? This is something that people around the world know how to do well, because most of us don't have much money. So how do you do more with less? Finance smart strategy. People don't think of the strategy as finance smart. They should. Use your network. But again, not many friends and family have a whole bunch of money. Angels and crowds, that's what is available in America. Business chain capital, your suppliers, your vendors, and your customers. Strategic alliances. Can you form alliances with companies without them screwing you? Development financing. This is banks and Bank of Nigeria and people like them. Scalable loans, so you can keep getting loans as you grow. And this has been used by many. A guy called Neeraj Jain built a company called Wayfair to billions by basically using his suppliers' money. So he got loans from his suppliers. Amortizing loans for fixed assets. This is what Walmart used. This is what people like Best Buy used, and venture capital after AHA. So you need to know how to use these other sources well before you get to venture capital, if you want to get to venture capital, which some might need it, most more will not.
Good. We are progressing. I'm sure. Okay, I have. Okay, this is talking about still on that's Nwakuba is in the skill structure strategy, but how can we get this professional level without that's with the low income at the moment. So she wants to know how they can really get the professional skills with low income. I think that's what she really meant there. Is there anything you want to say about that, or can I go to someone's another comment?
That's, each country is different, and so I wouldn't know how to answer that in Nigeria. That's something for professionals like you to make available through classes or through government aid or something like that. Because
let me help you. Let me help you. Just like I mentioned to you last time, we offer Entrepreneurship Academy before every of our annual Ugwumba Enterprise Challenge. So the young people, they come and learn different business development skills, at no cost to them. So they don't pay any kobo. They come and learn before they go over for the grant competition. I think that is another way that they can acquire some of these professional skills, because they are exposed, to the rudiments of design thinking for innovation, ideation and pitching, financial literacy at some level. So these are sources of, some of this training that come to them at no cost. So not minding, their financial status and the business level. So that is one aspect. And then there are on the internet, there are so many free courses that anyone can sign up, to acquire this kind of professional skills that you mentioned. So I think that has answered that question. Is it correct?
Yeah, I think you need to look at it from each country's perspective and each area's perspective.
Okay. So this is from Ogbonnaya John. The talk show is what I have looked up for before now, and here it is. Thanks to Ugwumba leaders and to you, sir, for coming to enlighten Nigeria youth to be part of usefulness. Fantastic. Okay, I think Chibuzo Okwara said e-learning is good. Distance is not a barrier. So that's also how people can acquire professional skills without having to pay so much money, to acquire them. So that is another solution that he has helped us to profile. Okay, look at this one. He's saying, Lemuel is saying, thanks for creating an opportunity for us to learn. This is another learning opportunity. And I'm sure that those of them that were able to join the show this afternoon, they have acquired new skills and information that they will apply in their businesses. Very good. So I think, okay, so let's go back to the discussion. Prof, Yeah, it's been wonderful talking with you, and I am sure that you have a lot more to share with us. I mean, because of time, we won't go into much details again, and I'm sure that those of them that are participating in the status program, the Ugwumba status program that is ongoing, I'm sure that they will wait to hear more from you when is your session again? May what? When is your
20th,
session coming?
May 20th.
Okay, May 20th. So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are participating in the Ugwumba Status Program, you have to wait for Prof on the May 20th so that you can hear more. And I'm sure that you are better prepared to ask him more questions when his session begins on May 28th. May 28th. So this is your opportunity to fill your worksheet and submit them and get ready for the class. So ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the show this afternoon, and we are reaching you from the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. To know more about us, quickly go to our website at www.ugwumbaleaders.org, or you go to facebook.com/Ugwumba or on LinkedIn, you can see us at linkedin.com/company/Ugwumba Leaders. Connect with us so that you can have regular updates about our speakers, wonderful speakers like Professor that we have brought all the way from the US to speak to you this afternoon, and others that will come in the future. So it's better you connect with us so that you don't miss any of these opportunities. And the programs that we announce regularly, like the status program I just talked about, we are lucky to have Prof as one of the members of the faculty. We have had 2 sessions, and one is coming next week. His will come after the next week session. So amazing professors, amazing business experts, global leaders, coming to teach our young people here who are, privileged to be part of the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa's programs. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having Prof on the show this afternoon. So, Prof, before I let you go, I think it's time to let you go. But before I let you go, I want to know, what is your advice to young entrepreneurs in Africa, not only Nigeria? I'm talking about Africa. What is your professional advice in terms of how to, access funding or startup capital, and how to also do their business, then financing skills, and all the things that they need to know, to be able to succeed in their business ventures? So, what is your final advice?
Okay. This would be the fundamental advice that I would give. And I give this to every entrepreneur who wants to grow. Small business, new entrepreneur, anyone. Find an emerging trend. What that means is, what is new in your community, in your country, in your skill set? Get in there. If you look at the history of these unicorn entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs, every one of them used an emerging trend. So what is the emerging trend? What is emerging that is happening, that is likely to become big? Get in. Okay, learn the skills to get in there. Learn business smart skills. How do you create wealth? Learn capital smart skills. How do you use it? And most important, putting all of it together. How do you come up with the right strategy? This is one thing that nobody can teach you, because what you're doing is like running a race. How do you come up with a better strategy to beat the other guy? You're competing with the 8 or 9 people. You have to know your competitors. You have to know the market. And then you have to figure out, how best do I do it? And it's not done on paper. It's done in real life. So your business plan is really useless for this. Your pitch is garbage. Okay? You need to prove it in real life, in the world. And then, how do you become a leader? How do you control? How do you organize? How do you lead? All of these can be learned. So I hope you learn that and become a complete entrepreneur. So venture capital basically uses capital as a weapon, whereas unicorn entrepreneurship uses skills as a weapon. And so my rule in life is, I hope I do this as long as I'm alive, continuous self-improvement. You never stop learning. Look at Steve Jobs. If you go to my LinkedIn thing, I've posted a LinkedIn, whatever it is, about Steve Jobs. Watch that. It is the most humbling video I've seen. And this is after he had built Pixar. He was already a billionaire. And listen to the answer that he gave about what he was doing with Apple. And I've met Steve Jobs. Never mind. But he can be abrasive, but he was one of the most humble entrepreneurs in his area. So get the right attitude, get the right skills, and get into emerging trends. And I hope all of you succeed.
Thank you so much. That's a good prayer for all of us listening to you this afternoon. Who else is here? Oh, many questions. Okay, this is powerful. Thank you. Okay, this is powerful. I am learning a lot. Thanks for this opportunity. Then from BB Kala, she said, thank you so much, Mr. Remy, for bringing us exceptional opportunity to us. Okay, this is from okay, Aman Monye. Thank you, sir, for sharing your ideas on venture capitals with us. It's noted that we have to do well for us to be sought out for. Good. This one is from that's from Dabra. Thanks for this session, Sir Dileep and Remy. Okay, this one is from Winnie Ine. We are very grateful for the opportunity, sir. We are very, very lucky to have the forum under the umbrella of Mr. Remy. Okay, good. So this one is from wow, emerging trends. So you go look out for emerging trends in your locality, in your society. That is how to really make a difference and begin to earn money. Thank you, sir, for giving us this opportunity. Oh, they are still
Thank you, and good luck to all of you.
Yes, yeah. So, Prof, I think the comments are still coming. So I don't know. We can't continue to wait. It's almost it's 1 hour 6 minutes that you've been on the show. We are so grateful for having you. It's really a great privilege, and I'm sure that those of them that are benefiting from the Ugwumba Status Program, they will not wait for your class to come. They will not wait so that they can continue to hear this wonderful secrets that you are letting out this afternoon. So at this juncture, I want to thank you once again on behalf of my president, Ugwumba Uchenwosu. I want to thank you and then for being part of the show this afternoon. And I'm sure that when we call you again, I know you will come, because certainly these young people will not allow me rest. They want to hear from you again. They want to hear from you again because you have really exposed them to things that they never had before, things that they never thought before. Because here, everyone is gearing for venture capital, everyone is getting ready to pitch, even though for us, we serve as angel investors. So we give out our money, to the best ideas that come for the annual Ugwumba Enterprise Challenge. By the grace of God, we are progressing. This year, our partnership with Inner Power is taking us, to the global stage, where our young people will now face, to pitch before investors in the US who are going to put their money in their businesses. And again, like I said before, Bilkisu Garba, her project was adopted by Butler University. The MBA students of Butler University doing entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship. They had to adopt her program through Professor Stephanie, and they studied her program, for over 2 months. So we are really contributing to the global impact, in trying to portray entrepreneurship as the way to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, at Ugwumba Leadership Center, our mandate is to raise young entrepreneurs for the African continent. And I know that with people like Professor Dileep and others, Emile Kiyo, Professor Stephanie, and all of them across the other side, I'm sure we are going to succeed on this mandate. And I thank you for the opportunity you have given to us this afternoon. It's a rare privilege, and we are not taking it for granted. Prof, thank you so much once again. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it a day at this juncture. We can't continue to keep Prof. He's a very busy man. It was a privilege to have him. So we have to let him go and maybe bring him back some other time, to continue to expose and blow our minds, so that we can do better at what we are doing. Thank you so much, and God bless all of you.